Now that I finally got my drill press off my welding table, I want to reduce the footprint of this table as much as possible. So I'm going to be able to cut almost 6 inches off this side. But more importantly, I've been dying to get this piece of grating for a while. But you're going to have to wait till the end of the video to see why. Now that only freed up about 6 inches of garage space, but you know what they say, 6 inches is 6 inches. Now, I didn't spend forever cleaning up this grating. I just kind of knocked off the sharp edges. I'm not even going to wire brush it. I kind of washed it, and that's going to be about it. Let it dry. And I'm going to spray it with some Rust-Oleum rust reformer. This instantly converts rust to a protected paintable surface, supposedly. So we're going to spray some of this on here. Now while that's drying, we're going to have to find something else to do. Welcome back to Buyer's Creations. It's a new week. It's like 88 degrees in here. It's not even 5:30 yet, so I think it's going to be another hot one. So I figured this week we're just going to go over 3 more hard truths about garage organization. We've done this once before. I've come up with 3 more ideas. I just got done putting a coat of paint on our grating and just going to tinker around in the garage today. So this drawer here on my toolbox used to be my drill bit drawer. Any way to make a hole in wood or metal, hole saws, extensions, adapters, countersinks, you name it. It was all stuffed in this drawer. I've got 99% of it in my drill press cabinet. If you haven't seen that, here's a glimpse. Anyways, the only thing that didn't fit was this Greenlee knockout set. I was hoping it'd go in there, but the drawers just filled up quick. I ran out of room, and this is the only thing that didn't fit in there. Now, it is technically an electrical tool, and I think what I'm going to do is take this drawer, move it all down in here. It could be with the electrical stuff. I probably won't ever use a knockout set for anything other than electrical, so good place for it. Perfect. Got everything rearranged. Got a lot of extra room for new tools, such as this new crimper set I just got. But we'll talk about that here in a minute, because new tools kind of brings up the first point of this video. So the first hard truth in this video is, when are you going to be done? And I'm going to tell you right now, never get the notion that you're going to finish organizing your garage. It's never going to be perfect. I've got stuff over here that I can't find a home for or haven't found a home for. And that's just the way it goes. You'll find a home for something and you'll acquire something. It's just like my knockout set here. I built a new cabinet to hold all my drill bits and all my hole making stuff, and my knockout set didn't fit. Fortunately, for this particular project, I was able to move my electrical stuff down to this drawer. My knockout set fits good for it. I had room for my new crimper set, so I ain't got to find a new home for that stuff, but I do have stuff I need to find a home for. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're all guilty of it. We see these pristine, perfect garages on YouTube and Facebook. But I promise you right now, more than likely, those folks are making money off that pristine garage. They don't have a job. They probably got families and kids and stuff, but that's what they do for a living, is work out of that garage, make videos. But just like my garage, it's not a YouTube studio. You see it all the time with stuff in here and stuff on the countertops. And in fact, I'll show you right now, my garage is not perfect. I turn this around. You see my table saw's cluttered. I got a bunch of stuff piled on the ladder from my Jeep excursion to Colorado. I got a cart with painting supplies on it where I've been painting in the house. And I'll tell you what these YouTubers are doing. There's a pretty good chance they're hiding the clutter from you. They're hiding the stuff from you. They don't have a perfect garage. They're rolling it out the door when they make a video. I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time, and I'm sure that's what they're doing. So don't get upset if your garage ain't perfect, if you don't have a perfect place for everything. That's just life. Go in, enjoy your family, know you've done the best you can, keep plugging along at it. So let's check out this crimping tool from cptec. So this is their 9-piece crimping tool set. It comes in its own carrying case. Now, one thing I did find odd is the latches seem to be upside down versus standard cases or most cases. I guess the Hilti cases are like that. But when you open it up, it's got its own foam insert. It's got 7 sets of dies for different applications. You got your crimping tool, and it even comes with a set of wire strippers. So this happens to be the KFN-30J crimping set. It's got a couple different dies for insulated ferrules. It's got dies for non-insulated crimps. I believe these are supposed to be for heat shrink crimps. It'll even crimp some electrical pins for electrical connectors and even insulated crimps. This sheet here tells you what die number does what. And even on the dies, each side of the die is marked with the number so you don't get them mixed up. So how they feel? So they feel pretty good. I think the handles are just a little bit much for me. Someone with a little bit bigger hands might appreciate them. But they ratchet real smooth. I really like the way they ratchet. That seems fairly smooth to me. Just like any ratcheting set, they'll go all the way till full crimp. Go one more time, it releases. And they seem pretty solid. They're made out of 2 pieces of stamped steel sandwiched together. In fact, I just dropped mine on the concrete. It did take a little bit off the finish, but it didn't seem to deflect or hurt the crimpers any. And one thing that's cool about these is it has a quick disconnect. So that quick, you could change your dies out. And for your insulated crimps, it actually is color coded, so you know what size to crimp where. And I can't wait to try these out. I think they're going to be pretty cool. And even these wire strippers, again, I'm not just real fond of the handles, but they seem fairly solid. I've been using strippers for many years. One thing I did notice is it has your American wire gauge on one side, and then it has millimeters on the other side. So I can see how these could come in handy in a lot of places. We're going to leave them in this set, and I hope to try them out fairly soon. I'll let you know when I do. We'll make a video or something, or I'll at least show you in the video, and we'll do a little bit more in-depth review on it. I just happened to Google some name brand ratcheting crimpers, and what you get with them for $35 to $40 is what you see here. You get this die, it's not changeable, and you don't get no carrying case, you don't get wire strippers. Now, I know the typical homeowner, they're not going to need all these dies, but to get it all for $50 in a case that keeps it organized for you, keeps it put away, it's probably not a bad investment. I'll leave you a link in the description below. Go check them out. And in the meantime, let's get back to our video. So this next hard truth is going to be kind of a two-parter. I could divide them up. I could make more content out of it, but they go so well hand in hand together. And you've seen me park my Jeep in here plenty of times. I call it my $10,000 garage ornament. And you got to decide, do you want a garage or do you want a workshop? Something else I'm not personally guilty of, but if you're storing Christmas ornaments, camping gear, memorabilia, stuff of that nature, things from the house, if you're storing all that in your workshop or your space, the more stuff you cram in there, the more cars you have in there, the less likely it's going to be a good workspace and the less likely it's going to be organized. So the second part of this is my garage is only 20 foot wide, 24 foot deep. It's not that very big of a space, especially when your table saw takes up a 7 foot by 7 foot area. And we all dream of that bigger shop. I would like to have one about 4 times this size. I think it'd help a lot. But the sad reality and the hard truth of the matter is, if you're not actively out here organizing basically everything we've gone through in these 2 videos, if you're not cleaning, not organizing, not throwing stuff away, not taking care of business, it's never going to matter how big your shop is. You could have the biggest shop in the world. If you're not out here doing what you got to do, it's not going to be organized. So I'm not going to keep you waiting anymore. What was the grating for? My plier drawer. It needs quite a bit of work. You can see it here. It's got some organization, but it needs a lot more. And, well, let me show you what we're going to do with the grating. So what's so great about this piece of grating? Well, they make awesome plier organizers. A lot of y'all may think I'm cheap. A lot of y'all may think it's a waste of time. You could get them for 12 bucks, 20 bucks, all over the place. A lot of people have plier organizers. But on the flip side, I think this is what's made this channel as good as it is. A lot of people like to see stuff reused. They like cheap solutions. And I do too. So I'm going to keep doing that type of stuff. You know, sometimes we might do stuff like the tape measure organizers that's just tinkering around in the garage. And then sometimes we're coming up with solutions. So I hope you enjoy that. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm going to keep doing it. Now, if you don't think that looks better, I don't know what to tell you. All I got in it is a cutoff wheel and some spray paint that's been sitting under the counter. Now, I do have a few little things that need a place, but I have one more small piece of grating that was already in the pliers drawer. I'm going to cut it down, get it painted, get it in there. But in the meantime, let's move on to our final hard fact or hard truth about garage organization. So this last idea was brought to us by a subscriber. And then that gives me a good idea. I think we should make another video, but I need it to be all y'all's input. So go down, tell me the hard truths or hard facts you've had to learn about keeping your workspace organized, and we'll make a video all from your input. So what this guy said, and his name was, it was a Daniel Stickney. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Daniel Stickney 2400. And he said, if you find something you didn't know you had or can't remember using, it's probably time to throw it away. So we kind of touched on this in the first video. I had some sheetrock that I definitely got my use out of, but I didn't want to cut it down and waste a little bit of it to get it in a better spot to store it. I also had a tool bag that I definitely got my money out of. It was wore out, and I didn't want to throw it away because it's sentimental. But I went ahead and chunked it out. And what he's saying is, if you find stuff that you didn't even know you had, or stuff you haven't seen in many, many years, let's throw it out. What did we say in the first video? Rip that Band-Aid off, get rid of it. You're not even going to realize it the next day, and you'll have more room. Earlier in the video, we was talking about a knockout set. Do you know what a knockout set is? Well, good. I set you up a demonstration. So this is what your typical knockout set looks like. It comes with cups and dies. It comes with the arbor. This is how you draw your die into your cup. And it comes with the driver, or a ratchet in this case. This one uses elbow grease. Sometimes they're electric, sometimes they're hydraulic. I can't afford the fancy ones. This is my personal set. This one ranges from 1/2 inch to 2 inch. Now, when I say 1/2 inch, this ain't a true 1/2 inch hole. It's actually a 7/8 hole. You got to understand, electrical conduit is measured by the inside diameter, and when you're knocking a hole for electrical fittings, you need it to fit the outside diameter. So electricians use funny sized holes and calls them by the wrong names. For example, this hole saw kit. This hole saw kit ranges from 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, but technically it's a 7/8 hole saw, and then the 1.5 inches, I don't know if it says on here, but it should be somewhere around 1 7/8 for an 1.5 inch hole. So how this would work is, you'd still typically drill you a hole. It fits your arbor. So you'd take your cup, drop your arbor in, and then your die would thread on. We're going to thread that die on until it gets tight. Now, once you got it tightened up on there, you'd take your driver and just start turning it. As you turn this, that die is threaded, and it's going to pull that die up into this metal or up into this cup. And keep turning it. And there you go. Now you got your hole sized to what you need. You can put your electrical fitting in and go from there. So you may be wondering, why would I go through all that if I got the right size hole saw? Well, this was just a demonstration for one. If I was going to cut this size hole, I probably would have just drilled it in most cases. Sometimes though, this is a little drill. Commercial shops don't have such little drills, but you can see this takes up a lot of space. It's a big drill. You may not be able to get your drill in there. And also, these bigger cups, this 1.5-inch cup, and especially when you get into regular hole saws, the 2 and 3-inch standard hole saws, those things are wrist breakers. So a lot of times it's a lot easier to just knock out the hole. And again, like I said, the hydraulic and electrical knockouts, they're not near as rough to use. They punch the hole for you. So that's several reasons why we'd use a knockout over just drilling the hole anyways. So this is going to wrap up our video about three more hard facts about garage organization. So if you like this type of content, wouldn't hurt to hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, you could hit the subscribe button, and you could even hit the notification bell. That way YouTube lets you know when I release a video. In the meantime, I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we'll catch you next time.